Collapsing infrastructure, stolen power, 10-hour outages, overwhelming demand. India's electricity issues are the obstacles holding back our rising economy. Just over a year ago, we suffered the embarrassment of becoming the home of the largest power outage in history. What does it say about our growing superpower status when a quarter of our citizens have no electricity and those who do can't even rely on what they receive? Many say India is decades away from sufficient energy supply, but there are companies and individuals who are determined to lead us out of these dark days much sooner. So can we get there in a substantial way, or must we buy and burn more coal? Can the power of Shunya bring light to the lives of millions? Can we achieve consistent electrification at minimal cost? In today's quest for zero, we will meet individuals and companies who are lighting homes and in turn lighting up lives. Our story begins at the heart of the outdated electricity grid, where blackouts are common due to power distribution failures. In fact, agriculture belts face up to 22% power failures due to high overloading, oil theft and poor maintenance of transformers. What's more, most of the transformers use oil, which in turn uses fossil fuels. Not only are these bad for the environment, but they are also high maintenance and take the longest time to repair. So how do we replace these dinosaurs with something a little more reliable transformers that can work towards a zero failure rate? In our next story, we will learn about transformers that are able to take a continuous overload of up to 20% without any failures. Here is a look at what these transformers can achieve from Reliance and DuPont.
Mumbai, a city that never rests. A city that is the engine of the Indian economy. Even the shortest of power failures in the financial capital results in huge losses to the economy.
Mumbai being the commercial capital of India, the city cannot afford to have any power interruption. It is interesting.
Power failures in the financial capital results in huge losses to the economy.
Mumbai being the commercial capital of India, the city cannot afford to have any power interruption. It is interesting to know that our customers may be unaware of our challenges, never heard of load shedding in our license area in Mumbai. Our 28 lakh customers today enjoy a power availability of 99.98%.
Reliance Infrastructure, one of India's leading power companies, has been sticking to its commitment of providing uninterrupted power supply to Mumbai by employing a special type of transformer.
I think in a distribution system, transformer is the key equipment which needs to be focused on. For the long time, it was conventional paper insulations with oil was used. But today, I think the Nomex paper, which comes from DuPont, is one of the most important insulating material to be used for transformer for its durability. We have used this and we have got the great results.
In India, there is a very bad record of power transformers failing. Sometimes as early as 1 to 2 years, when they are supposed to last as long as quarter of a century. And we have analyzed a lot of these transformer failures are because of poor maintenance, oil leaks and thefts, and overloading at times. So you can imagine how much this erratic power supply impacts a lot of people. The need is to have uninterrupted power supply thanks to a good quality transformer which can be manufactured through applying good technology.
DuPont has put science to work to develop a new technology of open ventilated dry type transformers.
It took us a lot of time. Our engineers worked on several prototypes before they could develop a workable prototype which could help in the rural areas for uninterrupted power supply.
partnered with Prolec GE to manufacture the first of its kind Nomex insulation, which is critical to dry-type transformers.
As far as these dry-type transformers are concerned, there are two uses. One is for the purposes of the metro cities, another would be for the rural areas. Briefly, for metro cities, all the tall-rise buildings, the IT parks, the very heavily crowded places, these transformers are necessary because there have been accidents with the oil-filled transformers, for example, in Calcutta, Howrah, Delhi, Upar. The rural transformers, the failure rate in the country is very high. And most of the time when the farmer needs the power or when the power is needed, even when the power is available, if the transformer has failed, the power will not be available. So it's not just the power availability and deficit which is important, but availability of this equipment in the rural area is critical.
To address this problem of providing reliable power to remote villages, the Orissa Electricity Board is in the process of replacing their oil-based transformers with these dry-type transformers.
These days, the dry-type transformers and specifically Nomex transformer, Nomex paper-made transformers, these are helpful. Firstly, because of there is no oil in that, so the transformer failure can be reduced there substantially. Rather, it is eliminated with the no use of the oil. Because of this, its property of withstanding with the high temperature, and because of the fire resistance, the paper is basically prevents fire and it withstands with the temperatures, high temperatures also, and maintains its the dielectric strength.
Present problem is the rural feeder is that the transformer gets burnt quite often. Once the transformer gets burnt, replacement of transformer takes time. So this is the basically because the is not segregated the agriculture. Sometimes the agriculture feeder supply side, due to the general consumers, we are getting low voltage, we are not able to run the pump set. Sometimes the general consumer villagers complain, as because you have put the agriculture pump set, we are not getting proper voltages to proper voltage for our supply.
These superior performance, low maintenance transformers will soon be aiding thousands of farmers in the Gajapati district of Orissa to improve their yield and income.
So through collaboration with various stakeholders like the utilities, the government, customers, DuPont is aiming to achieve Shunya power interruption.
Electricity continues to be a rare commodity in remote areas of India. Even if villages are connected to an electricity grid, the cost of electricity is often too much for the majority of villages to bear long term. A civil engineer, Yogeshwar Kumar, has been taking the idea of hydroelectric plants and turning it into a miniature package. He has been helping villages in the Tehri district of Uttarakhand make their own electricity. He has installed these in over 15 villages so far. His work combines innovation and imagination and is paving the way for zero dark villages and zero pollution.
Treacherous terrains, rivers that flow in plenty. This is a tiny hamlet of Thati village in Uttarakhand, where time has stood still. But for Yogeshwar Kumar, it represented an opportunity to put his experience as an IIT engineer into play. Realizing the potential that water has as a source of energy for remote and hilly areas, he set up small micro hydropower projects in areas like this.
Rural areas don't have adequate supply of electricity. We still have about 10% villages not electrified, and there are almost 35% households in the country, those are without the reach of grid lines actually. So we need to supply power to all these isolated areas, and for isolated areas it is best to have a small power station which can cater to small village and a small population, and it may not be necessarily connected to the grid. and these are very useful for a local community when it can maintain it on its own and also sustain it for a long time.
For the villagers of this tiny hamlet, the micro hydropower plant is a lifeline. Not connected to any grid power source, the villagers of this hamlet use the 20 kilowatt micro hydropower set up by Yogeshwar Kumar for their daily use, and even have a computer lab up and running with the electricity that is generated by the micro hydropower plant. His method of bringing water to light up the lives of villagers is simple yet unique.
We are near a place called Buda Kedarnath. We had set up a small micro hydropower scheme about 15 years ago, and it is still working. We have utilized the water of this river called Menaka by setting up a very simple bush boulder weir. Bush boulder weir is made out of stones, bushes and little plastic material, so that water gets very easily diverted in a very low cost manner.
For most micropower projects that generate up to 20 kilowatts of power, no high-end construction is required on the rivers, and the water diversion can be done easily through readily available materials.
Water passes through this trash rake, which will stop all the boulder and stones, and rest of the water will move through. This is called intake channel, and if the water is extra, it will pass through this spillway and go back to the river.
The flow of water is controlled through a gate, which can be closed when the river is overflowing and can be opened when the flow is less.
After passing through the gate, the water enters a large chamber. This is called settling chamber. Settling chambers are very important because they help in settling all the silt or sand particles which are coming in the water.
Removing the silt from the water is critical as it affects the life of the turbine. Hard particles of sand and silt can corrode the blades of the turbine if they are not taken out during this stage. After this, the water is taken to a four-way tank.
At the end of this power channel, we have another structure called four-bay. The four-bay serves a lot of purposes. One is to maintain the level of water. Number two is to allow extra water to flow out of it and go back to the river. Number three is to allow all the silt and sand still flowing in the water to settle there. And number four is to stop all leaves and wood flowing into the channel, to stop at the trash rake. And number five is to allow easy flow of water to the pipeline that ultimately reaches the turbine.
It is this water that comes out of the four-way tank that is used to run the turbine in the powerhouse and generate power.
The water is flowing in this pipeline and it reaches here to the turbine. There is a jet inside which makes the water strikes the blade of the turbine, and that sets the turbine into rotation. Once the turbine starts rotation, it is connected to the generator and that generates electricity.
For the villagers and their children, micro hydropower projects like this is their source of power. And it is little steps like these which go a long way in a nation becoming powerful.
We have extreme shortage of power in the country, and we are far below world average. And if people start joining in production of hydropower and contribute to the grid, there will be a lot of smiles on the face of the nation. And by doing this, we are reducing a lot of carbon footprints, means zero carbon and zero unemployment rate, and hopefully zero migration.
So far, we have looked at two companies who are rethinking electricity generation so that it can be brought to more people with less of an impact on the environment. But what happens if these companies deliver this energy only to have it siphoned off before it ever reaches you? After the break, we see a startup that's working precisely to solve this loss.
Uttar Pradesh is most densely populated state. Agriculturally, it is most important. There was the problem of how to feed our increasing population.
हमारे ग्रैंडफादर से ही खेती होती चली आ रही, मगर बीच में दिक्कतें आई, लेबर प्रॉब्लम थी, सीड्स प्रॉब्लम थी, हर चीज की प्रॉब्लम थी। जो भी मिलता भी था तो वो पर्याप्त नहीं था हमारी फैमिली के लिए। फिर चूंकि मुझे नॉलेज नहीं था। Farmers, they are growing crops with the traditional methods. Education is very important for our farmer community. This farm school concept came from the agriculture department of Uttar Pradesh. DuPont Pioneer had the technology to help them to achieve it. These collaborations brought government and private sectors close. We are teaching farmers technical know-how right from the sowing to harvesting. In hybrid rice, we are teaching them how to sow the seeds, how to sprout the seed, how to transplant the seed. बट थोड़ा सा ऑड सा लगा कि जो प्रक्रिया थी स्कूली करीब 15 साल पहले की, बोले कि आप बहुत बेहतर स्टूडेंट रहे हैं और आप जो ये हमारे जो फार्मर आएंगे इस गांव के जो आएंगे आप उनको सिखाएंगे भी। सबसे पहले जो अहम है कि ये फार्म फील्ड स्कूल है जिसने मुझे इतना सब कुछ दिया, जिसने मुझे इतना नॉलेज दिया। जितना उत्पादन बढ़ता जा रहा है धीरे धीरे अर्निंग होती जा रही है। जब इनकम बढ़ जाती है उतनी उतनी सारी हमारी जिम्मेदारियां पूरी होती जाएंगी।
The concept of buying prepaid credits for recharging cell phone is a popular one. But have you ever thought of using prepaid credits for energy recharge? Gram Power has installed smart prepaid meters that detect energy supply and even energy theft. The idea is to monitor power consumption and optimize the supply and demand of power in rural Rajasthan. Let's take a look.
Tucked in the hinterland of Rajasthan is this nondescript village where electricity was always a distant dream. Hukum Singh and his family spent most of their lives in darkness until one day Gram Power was introduced in their village.
ग्राम पावर लगने के बाद में रोशनी की सुविधा होगी, पंखे की सुविधा होगी, बच्चे आसानी से पढ़ सकते हैं शाम सुबह।
पहले हमको सब कुछ काम अंधेरे में करना पड़ता था, अब उजाले में आसानी आ रही है काम करने में।
Introducing reliable, affordable and scalable electricity to these villagers is Yash Raj Khaitan and his smart microgrid innovation Gram Power.
There are three problems that are making rural electrification unviable in the country. Number one is that there is a very high degree of power theft. Like India loses almost about 58% of its power, and a majority of that is because of power theft. Number two is that it's very difficult for people to make payments, or I mean they just end up defaulting with their payments. And then the last thing is that people do not get access to a reliable supply of power. The power supply just cuts off whenever there is a shortage. So these are the three problems that we wanted to address, and all these problems lie with power distribution.
Using cutting-edge smart microgrid technology, Khaitan identified the need and supplied just what the villagers needed.
So that's essentially what formed the basis for our technology development, and then we came up with the full smart microgrid system. We implemented one system, then we kept on reiterating in it, and in just a little over 13 months, from one we'll have close to 27 power plants.
Gram Power brings power generation and distribution structure locally to the villages. It typically uses solar power in all microgrids, which allows it to be extremely scalable.
We'll set up a solar powered generation infrastructure within the village, which will comprise of solar panels, a battery bank, as well as an inverter. And then every single house is given a single phase AC connection, which is just like the same type of connection that you and I get in the cities. And households are, and then every single household is provided a prepaid smart meter. These smart meters are what Gram Power has designed ourselves. These smart meters then essentially form an intelligent communication network. And this communication network is what allows us to do all the intelligent things in the grid, such as theft detection. We're able to do live monitoring of the grid. Almost every 30 seconds, we get live information from our meters as to what is the consumption pattern, how does consumer behavior change with if we are trying out a new pricing strategy in the village. And this communication system also allows us to modify some of the priorities with which we supply power in these grids.
So families living off the grid or receiving less than 6 to 8 hours per day of power supply are given 24/7 electricity with a pay-as-you-go prepaid model.
Microgrids works exactly the same way as the prepaid system works with telecom. What we do is we have a local entrepreneur. This entrepreneur is trained on the system. He is able to do basic level of troubleshooting, and he also maintains some of the basic elements of the system. And he is provided a wireless energy wallet that Gram Power has designed. Now say this entrepreneur can sell 10,000 rupees of power in the community in a month. So he would purchase power from us in advance by depositing money in our bank account. When our server recognizes that yes, the person has made the payment, we automatically transfer that amount of credit along with his commission into this wireless energy wallet. Say if the end consumer wants to purchase 100 rupees worth of power, he would give 100 rupees to the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur would just press a couple buttons on this energy wallet, and the 100 rupees would get transferred into the smart meter. When the wallet's balance gets completely depleted, then the entrepreneur needs to recharge his wallet, and when the consumer's meter's balance gets depleted, then the consumer needs to recharge his meter.
Gram Power has essentially designed a system that addresses the most pressing challenges of power distribution for people who need it the most.
Our first power plant was launched in March of 2012, and by August of this year we'll have close to 27 power plants that will be functional across 27 different villages, and a total of over 1,000 families will have been served by August of this year. We're also working on several projects now which will help us achieve our goal of reaching around 30,000 households within the next 24 months.
Hitting upon the basic problems of rural electrification, Gram Power has truly struck the right chord of zero.
The theme of Shunya integrates pretty well with what our technology is able to achieve, as because of this smart distribution technology, we're able to ensure zero power theft, zero defaults, zero power cuts, as well as zero carbon emissions.
Of the 1.4 billion people of the world who have no access to electricity, India accounts for over 400 million. Over the course of the past half hour, we have seen innovators with smart, practical and scientific approaches for meeting this huge challenge. Whether it is miniaturizing hydroelectric plants or creating machines that detect power supply, each of these companies is advancing India's quest to provide electricity across our growing country while still surviving for zero emission, zero cost and zero distribution woes. If you too have an innovation that is solving or has the potential to solve some of the biggest problems we are facing today, you can write into us at powerofshunya13@timesgroup.com. This could earn you a chance to feature on this show. Until next week, it's me, Anupam Kher, saying goodbye.
Next week on The Power of Shunya, meet innovators and companies breathing a new life in the cityscape. Meet the people behind Olympia Tech Park, an IT hub in Chennai, which is an ode to the concept of eco-friendly and sustainable building design. Watch how a skyscraper is changing the skyline of Mumbai with its eco-friendly features. And a township in Chhattisgarh might just show other cities the way to sustainable living.